All right, so we're going to try some more examples of our factoring trinomials, the ax squared plus bx plus c. In the intro video, I think you guys noticed I did a lot of talking through and explaining my reasoning behind what I'm doing. So I will try to speed that up a little bit for you here, but that is going to be your thought process and what you want to think through when you guys do these. If you keep in mind some of the approaches that I do here, that could just save you some time so you don't have to guess and check every single possibility that you might have. Okay, so first thing that I didn't mention in the intro video is you always want to look for a GCF first. So I'm just going to make a note up here, GCF. We're always looking for a GCF. If there is one, we take it out first. So if you look at our trinomial, there is no GCF, so we don't have to worry about that, but you will have some examples that have that. And now we're factoring a trinomial, so we're trying to find the two binomials that will multiply to give us 2x squared plus x minus 3. So if you remember from the intro video, we do know that what goes here and here will multiply to 2x squared. We get really excited when that's prime because we know only x and 2x will work. What goes in the next spot, here and here, have to multiply to negative 3. Again, a prime number, so we know our only possibilities are 1 and 3. It is a negative 3, so we're going to deal with that in a minute. So let's just start guessing and checking these out and see if we can get one that works out. So starting with x and 2x. Now we're going to try the 3 and the 1. So I recognize that we're trying to add up to a positive x. And here are the things you can think through in your head a little bit. And this is how we get better at guessing and checking, is what is this 2x going to multiply with? What is this x going to multiply with? If I put the 3 right here, that gets me to a 6x. So I might not try that first. I might try to put the 1 here first and the 3 here first. So all I did was I thought one step ahead and said maybe I'm going to try something else. So 1 times 2x is 2x. X times 3 is 3x. Now, because of the negative 3 over here, I know that one of the factor pairs has to be negative. So what I'm looking at is a positive 3x and a positive 2, so I need to make one of these negative. Should the 3x be negative or the 2x be negative so they add up to a positive 1? So hopefully you're saying, oh yeah, make the 2x negative. So to make the 2x negative, or for this to be negative, that means the 2x had to multiply with a negative 1. So the 1 is going to be negative and the 3 is going to be positive. And let's just check to see how we did. We know that 3x plus negative 2x is a positive 1x, so we got our answer the first time. And again, I reasoned through the thought process a little bit, and that's how I got there on my first guess. It doesn't always happen, but as you get better at these, you'll start to notice that happening. Okay, next one. First, we look for the GCF. Is there a GCF anywhere? We notice that there is not, so we're trying to find the binomials that will multiply to give us that trinomial up there. Okay, so hey, what do you notice about the 3x squared? It's prime, so we know that that has to be an x and a 3x. No other options. So our c value is 12, so that 12 has a lot of factors. We could have a 1 and 12, a 2 and 6, a 3 and a 4. So we might be trying all 3 of those factor pairs unless we can reason through and get the answer a little bit faster the other way. Okay, so we know x and 3x are going to go here. Again, let's think about what is that 3 going to get multiplied by, what is the x going to get multiplied by, and we're trying to get to a positive 5. Now it is a negative 12x, which means you're going to have one negative factor pair, okay? So one thing to maybe think about is, hey, what if we put the 12 here? What that does is that tells me I'm going to get to a 36x. That seems too big. So I'm not going to start with the 12. I'm going to erase that and maybe try with a different factor pair. So you can you can reason through it and get better at this by doing things like that. So how can we get to a positive 5? Why don't we try the 2 and the 6? So should we put the 6 right here? If we put the 6 here, we're going to get to 18. That kind of seems big to me. So I'm going to start by putting the 6 over here. And I'm going to put the 2 on that side. So let's check those and see what we get. That's going to give us a 6x on top and a 6x on bottom. Because of the negative 12, one of them would have to be negative. Well, whatever one you make negative, those are going to add up to a 0. So that's not going to work out. So our first guess didn't work. So we cross it off. We try it again below. We're not erasing. We're just trying again. We know it's going to be x and 3x. Let's try the 3 and the 4. So again, here's what I think about is if I put the 4 here, well, let me draw my little lines. You want to think, what is the 3 going to get multiplied? What is the x going to get multiplied with? If we put the 4 right here, we're going to end up with a 12x. It could be 12x, but that seems a little high to me when we're trying to end up at a 5x. So that just guides me a little bit to say, why don't I put the 4 over here and the 3 over there? So now we multiply our outside and inside terms. We have a 4x on top and a 9x on the bottom. One of these has to be negative. Can we make one of those negative so it adds up to a positive 5x? We can if we make the 4x negative. 9x plus a negative 4x is 5x. So we're almost done. We just have to figure out where the negative goes. So in order for this to be a negative 4x, this x has to multiply by a negative 4. So the 4 is negative, which means the 3 must have been positive. So if we do a quick little check, just to kind of explain what's happening, x times 3x is giving us our 3x squared. 3 times negative 4 is getting us that negative 12. And we checked our outside terms, those multiply to negative 4x, and our inside terms multiply to 9x, and negative 4x plus 9x is a positive 5x.